ready,
What's
man.
up, beautiful? This is boy with Silver Wolf TV back again with another bang. I got my man OG Nitty, special guest. Well, he's not a special guest no more because he's been here before. Rozay and stuff. You know what I mean? Rozay, what's good, baby?
What's
good?
happening, baby?
Good to have you back and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Nitty, what's going on? Been a minute since me and you sat down too and stuff. You know what I mean? Love got you. You know what I mean? I know you don't get out of the way no more and stuff. So, how you been? All is well with you also. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Things been good, man. And speaking of that, you know, on behalf of Silver Wolf, you know, we've been taking some of the suggestions that's been going on, and particularly someone been reminding us that when we pull the pick up from certain episodes, sometimes we might forget and get into something else, so we might find another topic more interesting. But we do want you to know that we've been hearing your comments, reading your comments, and it's been definitely been taken under advisement. We'll try to correct that. Also, before we get started, I would like to give my granddaughter Malaysia very, very happy birthday. Right? Me and my granddaughter both share the same birthday. Today is my birthday. Today is her birthday. And I would like to let you know that granddad loves you very, very much. And I hope that you enjoy your birthday.
Well, it's your birthday too. Happy birthday to you also. You know what I mean? And your grandbaby, you know what I mean? Happy birthday to both of you.
Happy birthday.
Man, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things, man, we was talking about, man, like I said, all y'all already know Ron Rozay, man. He's one of the original co-hosts on here, man.
Mm-hmm.
So Wolf back in the day from when we had Frank Nitty show in the square. You know, so you know,
square.
He one of them. So one of the things we were talking about, some of the experiences and stuff I done had, you know, while I was in there. And, you know, and some of the most exciting and, you know, things of that nature. So one came to mind is when I was first went to city jail. This is before I got my time or anything. You know, I was waiting over city jail. And, and when I went over there, I had to go to court. You know, this is my first time going to court. And so at the time, it was a lot of big names over the jail. And being young, it was kind of surprising that my name was start being mentioned in the same sentences as a lot of these, like, really big guys, you know, throughout the streets and stuff of that nature. So anyway, we get on the bus, we go to Wabash and the Wabash courthouse and everything, and you know, you let you know that you ain't got no bail, you ain't got none of that coming in, none of that stuff. So okay, it was a dude, I forget his real name, but because of this one incident, his nickname changed. Right? So when he get on the bus, when we first get ready to go to court, he gets on the bus and he said, "Oh man, you Frank Nitty, man, this lady sitting beside me." So we kind of excited, so I'm kind of like, all right, man, be cool. But it was like, you know, it was kind of like he talking to me, but I'm like, I'm trying to focus on court. You know, I'm charged with a whole bunch of murders, and you know, only thing I'm saying, man, what's getting ready to happen to the rest of my life, right? So anyway, he talking to me and everything. So we get in court, you know, as expected. I ain't got nothing coming on bail and all that stuff. They let me know what I've been charged with, and all that stuff. So as we're leaving, it's some, like, you know, the city jail police are kind of standing around the bus, right? And now, mind you, if they got a kind of a rule that, let's say you take one of them hostage, they kind of had to sign their life away when they first get that job, because they say, hey, to keep you from escaping, they can shoot both the officer as well as the inmate to keep you from escaping. So okay. So I'm not parting up with him this time. I get back, you know, on the bus, you know, because they had you handcuffed to shack with all this. So Because I'm not sitting beside him this time. He gets on the bus and actually closed the door. I think he got one of his hands out the three-piece. I believe that's how it happened. He might have had both out the three-piece. But anyway, he gets on the bus, close the door, right, and start the bus up. Man, I'm telling you, it was like a switch got turned on all the COs at the same time. Man, they started shooting at him. Man, I'm talking about, man, they shot him so bad that they levitated him up out the seat. Now, by this time, I'm trying to get on the ground. I'm trying to get on the floor because everybody is scrambling. They get down on out. Imagine you trying to do this with a three-piece on, right? And so you're chained up your ankles, and for those who know what a three-piece is, it's a waist chain, and they give you a black box, and your hands be like this, right? You chain to your waist. You can't do nothing. You can't move from that position. So you got guys trying to dive on the floor, face first, head first, like that, right? While the police are shooting. But this is what amazed me because I didn't get a chance to see a lot of it, until later on when I watched the news. And man, this dude had the nerve. It was funny. It's funny now. Why they got him on the stretcher, put him in the back of the ambulance? He hollered, Murphy Holmes, Murphy Holmes. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, man, I just almost got killed on the flu, right? Because you sit there saying the same because they shooting at him, but ain't none of them no marksmen, right? So you know what I mean. You can just be sitting up there in the seat and catch a bullet to the head. You know what I mean? Because they missed them, or they don't know which way their gun gonna jump on the recoil, up, down. You know what I mean? Left, right. So it's those kind of times that really, like I say, was the most memorable for me, and then it really let me know that when it comes down to stuff like that,
go back to the story real quick, OG. Like the people who don't know, like Murphy Holmes, a housing project in Baltimore City.
Yeah, Murphy Holmes was probably the most notorious housing project in Baltimore history. Right? It was one of when you mention projects in Baltimore, like you can go in other cities and states, and you mention Baltimore, and you mention a project, and you say Murphy Holmes, and people say, yeah, boy, I remember that, boy, or boy, I heard something about that. Because Murphy Holmes was pretty notorious back in the day, right before it was torn down. And I mean, it was so notorious, and it had so much history to it. When it was torn down, I watched this on the news, right while I was on this my last incarceration. I watched on the news that you had people going down there to get bricks from the rubble, right, to have a piece of history, right, and they was like happy that they had me. Like, oh, I got a piece. It's not like what the hell, right? But
the guy who was yelling he was from Murphy Holmes.
Yeah, he was from Murphy Holmes, and what happened was after this, his nickname throughout the system became Bus Robber, right? Because he tried to steal a bus. So they started calling him Bus Robber, and it really stuck, throughout the system, right? But it was wild that you had people going back to one of the other things that we had spoke about a number of times is mental health. Now, no doubt, some people say, well, shit, man, that was gangster. Trust me, I'm taking enough of it away from them. But when you dive head first into a no-win situation, right, that's what I'm saying. Ah, man, you really ain't think that one out because you're partially handcuffed. right? You're partially handcuffed, and you're trying to, shift the gears and stuff on the bus. You're trying to shift the gears on the bus, and you can't do that and try to, that stern wheel at the same time because it takes too much. And then all them police is sitting out there. One, you already know how they looking at you. Each inmate, not just him, each inmate, they already looking at you like you something that they stepped in by mistake. You know what I mean? That's on Bob their shoe. So they looking at you like that, and then you talk about you may take away their means of taking care of their family, things of that nature. Because had he been successful, all of them would have been fired, if not that day, the very next day. Had he been successful in that. So I'm like, man, like because all of them would have lost their job had he drove off with a busload of at least of accused of felons.
And that's city jail. He not even in
Yeah,
the city yet.
we wasn't even in the system yet. That was city jail.
City.
Yeah, so that's how we tell people. Like when I come through city jail, it was probably tougher than a lot of prison. Right, that was just the city jail.
They said you make city jail, you make it anywhere.
I just said that on another episode.
Yeah.
There used to be this.
Dr. J. Killer K.
Right.
They say you make it over there. Man, now come on.
M section, you be known for murder. You know what I mean? Shit was rough, rugged, and raw. That joint. And this was before gangs. Right? This before, gangs hit Maryland soil. And it was really that rough over that joint. So, you never know what was going to happen. Like, every time I think about the boy Honeycomb Brazy, and he got in one of his songs, he said, somebody stabbed me, man. He said, got blood on the biscuits and the eggs.
That's my man. That's my man.
I'm telling you, that was happening a whole lot. When they had to stop us from going to the cafeteria because, man, the blood was getting on the biscuits, the eggs, the grits. You know what I mean? It's bullshit, man. We getting in the coffee everywhere because somebody was always getting hit about something. So I look at that and I say, man, it was so wild over there. And it kind of, in turn, made me wild because I looked at it like this. Man, if it's like that in city jail, boy, I know the penitentiary gonna be on steroids. So I came in that joint with that mindset, like I ain't going for nothing because, boy, you show a side of weakness over city jail, boy, and the sharks, the wolves, the hyenas, and some more people's coming. So, but the fact that, like I said, I have to, say, hey, man, that was a no-win situation. But it's something that's missing from our prison system. He was like, hey, we not going to be captives, right? I'm going to take this bus and I'm going to set everybody free. That was the mindset back then, and don't get me wrong, I always tell people, it was always snitching probably since the beginning of the time, right? But it was more, either you was in the game or you wasn't, and back then, it was like it was two types of people in the game. It was gangsters and it was outlaws, right? It was the two different types of people in the game, gangsters and outlaws. And he would have fell in the category of an outlaw because he said, hey, they got a bunch of us captive. I'm going to take this whole bus and set everybody free.
You say Outlaws. How long ago this was?
This was in the early 90s. This was in like, I'm guessing, 93.
I know they're going to get on me, fella. He tearing them chocolates up on there.
Right.
I know they're going to come for me.
But this is really it's like seeing those kind of events, like saying, man, I done seen so much. Sometimes, you know, somebody might be around me and I bust out laughing. They say, well, you okay, OG? They think I'm going crazy. Be like, no, I'm not going crazy. I'm just reminiscing about some of the really wild stuff I've seen. And that's been one of them, right? So it's been like, to imagine you on a bus, they just shot you down with barrel. You say, man, dang, rest of my life, man, these people, man, I know they're going to, even if they don't convict me on all of them, they're going to find a way to convict me on at least one. And I'm done. And you like, man, ain't no light at the end of that tunnel. And then you like, you relying on everybody. You relying on God, everything. Like, man, see what side, man. You know, like, what I'm supposed to do. And then next thing you know, this guy jumps in the driver's seat and try to take the whole bus. And the first thing you start saying, man, is this a sign? I just prayed for a way up out of this, right?
Yeah.
But it's those type of situations that I say, man, was some of the most eventful, you know, that led up to, you know, the time I received and things of that nature. You know, it was things like that.
Rozay, I know you got some experience yourself and stuff. You know, your time incarcerated and stuff. You want to share a little one of them, one or two with us and stuff.
Man, I'm gonna get up. I need something to drink. I get something to drink real quick. We're gonna edit it out. Oh, yeah, man. Let's go back. We were talking about more the stories, right? Yeah, it was about. I go back time. This probably was like 07, 06, I think. Probably about 15.
15.
Yeah, about 15, going on 16, like summertime. And I caught. Yeah, I had caught one of my biggest charges that probably like changed me a little bit, you know, shook me up, but you know.
What was that?
It was an attempt. And you know, like, and me not knowing I was a juvenile, so I was used to going to like baby bookings and having my mother come pick me up, you know, and out, you know what I mean, and out things. So this particular charge.
What kind of led up to it?
But the temp.
Yeah.
Oh, I was outside. Probably yeah. I think I was like hustling for real, and I was stop going to a school for real, and the girl, my baby mother or something. It was about some niggas that probably was she was dealing with something, but they was calling my phone and stuff. And I remember this lady yesterday. I think I had went out of town, G or something, and they called my phone and was saying they had a graveyard with my name on it. I remember that. I was like, what? Oh damn, we was geeking too. My man was outside geeking, laughing. I was like, oh, this yeah. So we just like letting the fly pass or whatever. But we did let it fly pass, but down the line that it was kind of crazy how stuff happened because I was outside one day and I was just riding. My man came to pick me up. I was riding up by Latrobe East Medical Center. And so happened, niggas, we must was in a fishbowl. Man, I don't even know what a fishbowl was probably back then. We must was in a fishbowl because niggas seen this. They was on the corner when it rolled past and they was like, oh, and I back. So I'm like, I don't know. It was a different me at the time. I must was like, yo, going around, let's see what's up with them. My man probably was on some scared shit too. I done put everybody in danger too. And turned around, baby mama, she probably like 2 months pregnant, I don't know. I get out there and first they were trying to squash the shit. It was like two of the niggas that went up to school. One of them supposed to have called me with the little threats for real. Mm-hmm. But they trying to squash it while I'm trying to squash it with the guy. This man hit me. The nigga that was running the mouth. But my thing is when he hit me, I thought it was at least gonna like stumble or anything. It was like I was waiting for that like that for real. So it was like I just blacked out. I was like, oh, that's what we doing. I just remember I threw up my hand. he was a little bigger than me, so I just cracked him. Nah, I remember he grabbed me. They was like the nigga that was trying to break squash the shit. And when he grabbed, he like take him for that ride. Take him like, so he was already planning to do that. So when he had my little waist, I felt him going up my feet for real. You know, I'm a Lord guy. I had to use some of my tactics. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I probably put on him like I was Mike Tyson for real. So I latched on his arm. He let go of me. He was like, he baby. And then it was all flurry. It was all flurry. All flurry. But that's the messed up part though. I didn't even know I was in front of the boy's house. And we was on his mother car. And I don't know, I blacked out. I was just keep beating him and stomping until my homeboy pulled me off of him. And we got in the car, but when I was getting in the car, he gets up with something and shots rang off. We hit a pole. And I don't know, I thought we was all dead at the time for real. It was like, I don't know, we young. It just was crazy. Like, my man, while he backing up and driving, he wasn't even looking. Like, his head down here. He just going, just anyway, he could have he could have went across, he could have went aside the swimming pool, anything, because he not even looking. He just going back like, woo. And then we hit a pole, boom. And to the point that they were some real killers. They was like that. They could have ran down and finished us off for real if it was like that.
But let me ask you something. It's amazing how quick, you know, especially in environments that we grew up in, it's amazing how things go, as they like to say, people used to say, from 0 to 100. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we got a saying in prison, from 0 to a felony conviction. Mm. Right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like, it was so, whatever the reason was, it was so small at the time that it's hard to even remember what it was really for. But like I said, that quick, right? And like tempers flared, and that quick, somebody's hurt, somebody's paralyzed, somebody, you know, dead, somebody, you know, it's a number of things, man, that I always, like I said, when I was still in the game, I always tried to make sure that anything I did wasn't personal. Mm-hmm. You know, and in that situation, it sounds like it was personal with you, at least, because you, even when they try to squash it, like no.
So from that charge, though, that's when you went to the from juvenile system to the regular.
Yeah, I ain't never see baby bookings again ever since that charge. It was like if I was weighed up anything. So it was like if I was to get locked up, I was like 17 with the big, you know what I mean, the big jiffers. So they weighed me out.
What was going on in your mind your first time in this? 16, 17 years old. What was the first thing on your mind when you had to sit in that big bullpen or all that, or wherever they keep the juveniles at, something like that? What was on your mind? So we got 1 minute, so let's just give me some insight to what you said when you first seen it. You don't even have that.
Freedom.
Freedom?
I was like, my freedom.